I see it. Coming here, Hellwind. Sight and blur, black wings. Yod Soth to save me. The thrill of burning eyes. Oh, I didn't see you come in. You keep doing that to me. But now that you're here, welcome to episode 5 of the Inner Sanctum, a dark ambient vlog by yours truly. My name is Joe. You caught me reading Great Tales of Horror by H.P. Lovecraft. And if you don't know H.P. Lovecraft, he was an author, poet who was active during the 1920s and 1930s, and went his entire life of just being completely unsuccessful and struggled with everything in life before his premature death in 1937 at the age of 46. It wasn't until several years after his death that he was really recognized for the genius that he was and the great, amazing characters and the worlds he created. And nowadays, he is, I would have to think, pretty much a household name. And his influence is everywhere. I mean, it's appeared in movies and music, and I guess a lot of you are probably familiar with his, his influence on dark ambient music. But I mean, I can remember the influence of H.P. Lovecraft going back even farther than that. I mean, the first time I can think about it is like on the old Metallica song, The Call of Cthulhu, which was like, 1984? I remember Merciful Fate had some songs about some H.P. Lovecraft characters. But yeah, obviously you Dark Ambient fans are probably mostly familiar with H.P. Lovecraft via the Cryo Chamber collaborations, which they've done like 4 or 5 of in the past couple of years now. And most recently, a label from Italy called Eighth Tower Records, they decided to do a compilation dedicated to H.P. Lovecraft as well. That's what we're going to start today's show off with. Now, if memory serves me, the first time I actually read an H.P. Lovecraft book of short stories was probably about 15 years ago, when I was either in college or shortly out of college. I don't remember what the inspiration was for buying it. I was just curiosity, because I knew he was always regarded as this great, amazing author, or what it was. But I bought a very similar book that was a collection of his short stories, and I remember back then I wasn't really that impressed. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure if it was just like something about his writing style, or maybe I just wasn't in the mood for that kind of writing at that particular point in my life or something. But I don't know. I remember I bought that book and I read through it and thought it was okay, I guess, and then I just sold it right away. And then I kind of forgot about H.P. Lovecraft, legitimately. And it wasn't honestly until Cryo Chamber started releasing their collaborative albums that I really started to think about H.P. Lovecraft. And when they finally released the fourth one in their series, they had a bundle on there. It was like $40 or something like that for all 4 albums. So I was like, I can't resist that. And I bought them, and I loved the collaborative albums, these great dark ambient records, just based off of all these stories and certain characters and events and stories, and I loved it. So I had to really know like more about these stories, and it inspired this great music. And that led me back to wanting to check out his writings, obviously. So I found that book I showed at a secondhand store for like $6. I snatched it up right away, and for some reason I read it the second time. It just really resonated with me. I don't know what it was, but the story just really came to life. I absolutely loved them. It was really great. There's a lot of great stories in this. I just really, I don't know. I think maybe because over that time period I had seen more of his influence in like heavy metal and dark ambient, really just music in general. I think that's what it was. Maybe the names and stuff were more obvious to me when I read them the second time around. I don't know. But anyway, I'm a really big fan now, and I'm really glad that Cryo Chamber did those compilations, because if they hadn't done those, I don't think I would have even got back into his writings, and I probably would not have been talking about the album I'm about to talk about, and I definitely wouldn't have been a part of this album either, because I wouldn't have known anything but H.P. Lovecraft. Let's talk about this album now. Released earlier this year by Italian label Eighth Tower Records is In Tenebris Scriptus, a dark oral tribute to H.P. Lovecraft. And I'm going to say this, and I mean this pretty genuinely, this is a damn awesome album. And I'm not just saying that because a Noctivagant song appears in it. It is a really good tribute album to H.P. Lovecraft, and every song on this album is great. It features artists like Monocube, Corona Barathri, Sonologist, Xerxes the Dark, Moloch Conspiracy, New Risen Throne, as well as a few other artists I'm not even sure I've heard before, but I really enjoyed their contributions to this compilation. I really got to get around to looking them up on Bandcamp and seeing what other stuff they've created, because it's really great stuff. The compilation opens up with a song from Monocube called Dwelling in Mayhem. And it has this really just kind of haunting, gothic sounding guitar, acoustic guitar, intermingled with various noises and just dark droning atmospheres. It's a really great song. Moloch was also just a really great artist. I've only so far heard the album on Malignant Records called The Ritual. It's a great project, highly recommended. Another really great song worth mentioning is Latani Lantiquis, which is by Barathri. And if you don't know Barathri, they're a Russian dark ambient ritualistic project, which normally has themes of like Luciferianism and occult stuff in general. And just everything from this project was really great. I love it. I have several CDs from this band now, and I can't get enough. It's super creepy, super dark. It just usually there's lots of really just great female singing and chanting, just witching vocals, and lots of percussion, just really dark, menacing atmospheres in this music. And this song is no different. It's just a total great song. And I mean, this project does no wrong in my eyes. And actually, I'm going to be talking about them later on in the show, so we'll get back in the greater detail with that a little bit later on. Cryptic Realms is the fifth song on this compilation. It comes from Sonologist. Sonologist is a project of Raphael Pezzella from Italy, and he's actually the label boss of 8th Tower Records. And his contribution in this compilation is a short, noisier kind of sounding track, and with only some lighter detectors, but I really like it. It's only a little over 2 minutes, but it's nice, kind of midpoint of the compilation. Really fits in nicely. I like it a lot. Xerxes the Dark song is really great. It's about Dagon. It's pretty again, a little more noisy, but still has some really just dark, droning atmospheres that just really just take you to just really super dark. You know, you can really feel the influence of H.P. Lovecraft in this track. I mean, you can really just, you know, I was actually reading the Dagon story while listening to this compilation, and I got to this particular track, and I really could just feel like those words lifting off the page. I don't know if that makes sense, but I could really just feel, I was just really immersing myself between like the music and the writings. It was a really great feeling. I don't know how to explain it. And then New Risen Throne, which is like one of my absolute favorite dark ambient artists, and an artist I've been following for, gosh, pretty much since the very beginning of his career. I think actually I've been a fan of New Risen Throne. His track was really a surprise. I'm more used to his kind of calm, dark, and somber kind of sounding dark ambient compositions, but here he offers up something with a lot more percussion. It's a lot more boombastic, I guess you could say, and just really a lot more active. Really a nice surprise from New Risen Throne. Really great track. So finally, I'm going to talk about my own contributions to this compilation. I hope that's okay. We know I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care if you like it or not. So I did a song based around the story of the Haunter of the Dark. And if you've never read The Haunter of the Dark, it's basically about this guy named Robert Blake. He goes to this old church in his town. He finds this metal chest, finds this ancient artifact, accidentally unleashes this horrible demon. Then a little bit later on in the story, there's a horrible rainstorm. The power goes out, and this demon gets unleashed, goes to his house, and it kills him. Oops, that sucks. But so anyway, for the song, I made a lot of field recordings of rain. I had lots of wind chimes. Just for some reason, wind chimes felt like they fit in with the story. I don't know why. It seemed like it was a necessary thing. And I obviously gave him some just dark droning atmospheres and, you know, synthy stuff to put in there. And then towards the end of the song, I have this sort of, I guess it's kind of hokey in retrospect, but this sort of gothic little piano ditty I came up with. This really seemed to work well. I don't know, it sounded very cathedral-like or church-like, and it just felt like it fit in with that like H.P. Lovecraft kind of universe there, or whatever, I guess. So that's there at the end, and then finally, the last part of the song is me reading the very last part of the story, which is actually, funny enough, what I opened this episode of the Inner Sanctum with. And yeah, that was how that song went down, and you know, it was a really fun song to create. And when Raphael Pezzella first approached me, I wasn't even sure if I was up for the challenge. I was like, wow, you know, like, can I do this? You know, I felt a lot of pressure for that, but I think I made a pretty cool song. And one person actually emailed me and told me that my song was the best one on the compilation. So I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it's really amazing. Like, you know, when people do that kind of thing to reach out to you like that. I mean, it really means a lot when, you know. Anyway, So I have to thank Raphael again for inviting me to the compilation. I mean, it was super amazing when he sent me the invite, and I mean, I don't know what I did to impress him so much, but he invited me, and I came up with something good, and I think so anyway, and yeah, I'm really happy with this song, and it kind of gave me the thought that like maybe somewhere down the road I should do more songs based around like H.P. Lovecraft or just, old stories like that in general. So we'll see what happens. So as mentioned in the last episode, I want to make sure that, I'm really showing the album artwork and everything about it really clearly. So here's the front cover of the In Tenebris Scriptus, a dark oral tribute to H.P. Lovecraft. Eighth Tower Records presents. Here's the front cover. Inside. Track listing. As you can see, I am actually on it. I wasn't bullshitting. CD. And behind the CD, tray cover, and the back cover. Interestingly, there's actually this is actually the second pressing, because the first pressing, which I actually have over here, has a printing error. As you can see, it says 8th Tower Records instead of 8th Tower. So Raphael sent me another copy just so I had the right one. The compilation is actually limited to only 50 copies, but I'm guessing with the second pressing maybe there's 100 total now? I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, I'm sure over time this will sell out, and like I said, it's a really cool compilation, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it. It's really enjoyable, and if you're into H.P. Lovecraft, I see no reason not to own this, and yeah, I mean, if you're into those crowd chamber compilations, this is just as good, if not better, so definitely check it out. It's a dark oral tribute to H.P. Lovecraft in Tenebris Scriptus.
Moloch, the biblical name of a Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice. Conspiracy, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful. Put them together, and what do you get? You get Moloch Conspiracy, a relatively new dark ambient project from France, spearheaded by one Julian A. Lacroix. The Cave of Metaphysical Darkness and Light is the third full-length album from Moloch Conspiracy, but the first physical item released by the band, coming to you via 8th Tower Records from Italy. 8th Tower Records sent me this album as well for a review, and I wasn't really familiar with Moloch Conspiracy other than their contribution to the H.P. Lovecraft compilation I just mentioned, and I believe there was actually one other compilation where I heard some of the band's work too, so I didn't really have any special expectations, but I have to say this album really blew me away just by its sheer diversity. And the thing about dark ambient music is some people really kinda, I don't know, they slam some artists that really do diverse records. I don't really know why, because that's always kind of been like my thing with my music. I've always wanted to be really diverse, but I guess some people just really like a certain level of cohesiveness in their dark ambient music. And if you're one of those people that likes a lot of cohesiveness and a lot of similar sounding songs in the whole record, this is not the record for you. But if you like diversity and you like things to really change up and you want twists and turns and new things in these tracks, this is the record for you. Moloch Conspiracy has a sound that I would probably describe as like horror, ritualistic, dark ambient. Basically, it's like, think of like all those really menacing, intimidating scenes in horror movies intermingled with just like this dark summoning going on. It's really something. I mean, I've heard other stuff, but it seems like this artist really kind of stumbled upon something really kind of special and unique with this record. And again, I'm just totally blown away by this because I wasn't really expecting anything out of this record, and it's turned out to be so fucking good. And like I said before, it's like, it's really, it's super diverse. I mean, that's just something you don't always expect with dark ambient music. I mean, you get everything in this record from, obviously there's a typical dark, droning atmospheres you're used to with dark ambient music, but there's also a few acoustic instruments or some percussion. There's some noisier and industrial characteristics. There's some female singing. there's just these like demonic growls and chanting, and it's just all really foreboding. I just really love it. It's a really excellent record. One of the songs I really like is the fourth song called Apsu. It has this dark droning atmosphere mixed with this weird kind of female singing. I mean, I've like literally never heard this in dark ambient music, or really like any like kind of underground music before. It's really special, and I can't really explain why, but it just sort of made me think of like something very Japanese in origin. Like, I don't know, I feel like back in my days when I was really into Japanese movies, I heard some sort of chanting like this, or singing, I guess, very similar to this. And I don't know, as soon as I heard this, like, it just made this mental picture of just some of these weird Japanese movies I used to watch back in the early 2000s. And I don't know, that's cool, because I mean, I love it when music connects you to certain memories that you've otherwise forgotten. So that song's really cool, and I love the female singing. It's super unique and awesome. I just love it. Another really cool song is Kalulu. Kalulu? I don't know how to pronounce it. Well, whatever. It's a cool song. It's the third track now. Definitely check this out. So it's got some cool, interesting acoustic instruments, and I can't quite figure out what it is. I thought it was the guitar at first, but the more I listened to it, it sounds like something else. So I'm not really sure, but it really is really cool, and again, really unique. I never, heard anything like that in the dark ambient record before. And then I also like the song Epilogue, which is obviously the last song on the record. It has some more melodic characteristics with the piano. Just really, again, just kind of spooky and weird and dark, but still melodic and really interesting. Really holds your attention, and a lot of really good songs in the record. Another one's called the Awful Ritual, which is a collaboration with I believe it's either a Russian or Ukrainian artist called Nikolta, and yeah, some really cool percussion and other instruments in this one. It's a really great collaborative track. I love it. And here's the front cover of Moloch Conspiracy, The Cave of Metaphysical Darkness and Light. Inside the digipack. I really like these digipacks from Tower Records. They're simple, it's a single page, but it works really well. And they seem like they always have really nice artwork too. Here's the CD. Tree. And the back. So I haven't really done this yet, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to just to kind of show some of the instruments I use to create my music. I mean, obviously, synthesizer is a big part of it. We'll get to that maybe in another episode, but since I just posted a picture of my Tibetan singing bowl on my Instagram account, I thought it'd be cool just to, give it a few hits and play it here on the video before we get to the intermission. So, that's all, right? Very easy up close. Dark ambient drones au naturel. No synthesizers needed. And I have an upcoming split record coming up with a Russian project called Deep Dark. And when Deep Dark approached me, they, or he, should I say, Dmitry asked if I would be interested in doing a record that was more in a,
ritualistic sort of horror theme. So I was up for the challenge, and it was right around that point in time, I think, when I first bought this Tibetan single. Maybe it was a little bit before that, but I used it quite a bit on this particular record, this 4 songs I did for the split, and when that record is released, which it should be released in mid-August, so by the time I publish this video, it might actually already be out, but whatever. Obviously, if you follow me on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, you'll get those details when it's ready. I'm not by any means going to say I'm the best person in the world playing this thing, but it definitely takes practice. But it's fun recording this stuff and just kind of messing around with the sounds. You know, either leave it in its natural state or slowing it down or adding all kinds of reverb. You can just really get some really interesting sounds if you start messing around with this stuff. The studio called and said you got more time to jerk off before you get to take a break, so I'm gonna give you a little bit more. So I couldn't really think of anything to talk about immediately because the studio was like on my ass. I'm like, dude, you gotta do this shit. So I was like, alright, I'm just gonna talk about my dark ambient related tape collection, which isn't very big because, as I've already said, I'm not really not like horribly into cassette tapes. But you know, I do have some good memories of tapes when I was a kid. I mean, you know, it was fun, like, doing, you know, like, making compilations for friends and shit like that back. I mean, it was cool trading tapes with people back in, like, the late 90s and early 2000s. I didn't do too much. I kind of caught the tail end of that whole, you know, little trend. I don't think it was a trend. Whatever it was. But I caught the tail end. I only did it for a little while. But it was fun getting, like, you know, some tapes from friends across the seas and stuff like that. And, you know, shit like that. It was really cool. But, so I don't got many tapes. And I've sold a lot of tapes over the years, too. Some of the old shit I had. But, you know, the thing that I always disliked about tapes was, you know, stuff like when the reel got stuck in the stereo and you have to pull it apart and shit like that. I mean, I still have this horrible memory from when I'm like 10 years old and Appetite for Destruction from Guns N' Roses got stuck in there and it got fucking, I couldn't get out, it got ripped and I was just, my whole world collapsed. It's horrible. I'm still traumatized, as you can see, but I'll live. I got the CD now, so I guess I'll be alright. Anywho, I'm going to talk about those dark ambient and related tapes that I still currently own. I don't got a lot. Maybe I'll buy more. I don't know. I really just need to get a good stereo because my current stereo, when I play tapes, there's this thing where it'll play and then it will just kind of fade out and then fade back in real quickly. It's very annoying, especially if I like some of my black metal tapes. It's really fucking annoying. But whatever. All right, here we go. Up first is R.C. Kozletsky's Pulsed in a Dull Glass Bell. R.C. Kozletsky is Robert C. Kozletsky from Pennsylvania. And in case you don't know who he is immediately when you hear that name, he's been involved in projects like Shock Frontier, Apocryphos, Psychomanethium, and he's also been a big part of the Cryo Chamber collaborations. I think he's probably been in all of them, actually. This is, I guess, his first solo work, and it's kind of a noise dark ambient, you know, it's kind of a nice mixture of them both. You get a little bit of everything, I guess. I mean, it's not too harsh and not too mellow. It definitely keeps you, you know, interested and keeps you going. So here's the tape. This isn't going. It's a normal black tape, so nothing too special there. It's this size here. And the cover painting is by Parv Ostrom, who is the mastermind behind Kamar Height. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I was just listening to this just a few moments ago, and I kind of forgot about this cassette tape. I bought this on a whim back when it was first released after reading a review on This Is Darkness, and I don't really know what it was about the review that intrigued me enough, but I just picked it up right away, and I was like, fuck it, why not, you know? I really enjoyed it, but I only listened to it one time when I first bought it, and then I just kind of forgot about it. So I'm glad I got back to this one thing. It's really cool stuff. Like I said, noisy, dark ambient stuff. You know. Next is the Null Spectre, an artist from, if I'm not mistaken, Seattle, Washington. I got to know this artist because he was on the same label that released one of my tapes, Sleep Unit, from the UK. After Sleep Unit released my tape, he sent me a copy of this, and I really like this one a lot. It's kind of, I guess I would say, I don't want to say standard dark ambient necessarily, but it's got some horror vibes and just really dark soundtracking kind of vibe to it. I really like this one a lot. It's only 4 songs long, but it's, you know, pretty damn enjoyable stuff, and he's got a lot more stuff on his Bandcamp site. It's really worth checking out. It's a great artist, and it doesn't seem like he's really getting a whole lot of attention, so if you watch this video, I would highly recommend you check this out. So, it's just a standard black tape again, nothing especially interesting about it. And very simple J card. Just a black backing, so yeah. That is literally, that is the Null Spectre. Next up is Northhunt's Barren Land. This is another one I bought. I'm not even really sure why I bought the cassette tape of this in retrospect when I really think about it. I feel like the label that released this, which is Todd Strebe Records or something like that, I believe it was a black metal label, and I was buying some black metal cassettes, and I just saw this, and I was like, well, fuck it, why not, you know? So this is the Northhunt Barren Land release on cassette tape. And it's actually, for a cassette tape, this is actually pretty cool. It's got a nice little layout and everything, and if you've never heard Barren Land, it's definitely one of the best Northhunt albums. As I said, it was released by his Todd Strebe Records. And again, just a standard black tape. Nothing flashy or exciting there. Yeah, it's cool to tape, even though it is a pretty, you know, little underground thing. It's a nice little layout. You do not enter the barren land. You become a part of it. Stare into the night, stare into your hollow heart, and you will see that it is here, it is waiting. Barren land. Here's something really old school. I believe this is when I got back in my tape trading days, and back in the, oh god, it must have been the early 2000s I picked this up if I had to guess. So this is Susurrus Inanus. The album is called The Shadow is Shining, and this is a project, a very short-lived project from Jason William Walton and Daniel Breyer, both original members of the post-dark metal band Agalloch. This isn't necessarily dark ambient, but, you know, again, this is kind of has similar characteristics and, you know, those similar vibes going on. The project is probably more, I would say, rooted in, like, gosh, I guess, like, neoclassical. It has a lot of, like, if you're familiar with the band Arcana, I would have to guess that is the biggest influence for this project. And the legend of this band is that they were going to sign a record with Cold Spring Records, but I think it was either because Agalloch, the guys didn't have too much more priority for Agalloch, or Daniel Breyer just lost inspiration for the project. I'm not really sure. But as for the style, this is, if you've heard some of the Agalloch demo songs and the one song on Pale Folklore is kind of in a neoclassical keyboard style. This is totally spot on, similar to that. So if you're in that thing, this is really worth hunting down. As far as I know, this has never been re-released, and I guess it probably won't be. I don't know, but I do know. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Jason has this available on his Bandcamp site, so you might want to look it up and download it. It's totally worth it. I mean, the best song on the record is called "Such As This Water." It's just really cool. I mean, if you're into stuff like Arcana, you will definitely love this project. And I don't know, this tape is probably, I guess, because of Agaloc's, popularity and people's obsession with all their side projects. This tape is probably worth a lot of money. I don't know. I really don't know. But it's really cool. I'm glad I got it back in the day. I'm glad I only had to, send some other dude a tape to get this tape, so not have to buy it off of Discogs for $50 like someone would probably do if I put it on Discogs. Alright, one more. I lied. I'm not going to show you everything. So this is one of my own tapes that got released by Sleep Unit Records. It is called Crumbling Cities Echoing Their Terror. This was released back in, when was it released? I think September of 2016, October of 2016, somewhere around there. And basically this was just a compilation of unreleased tracks for me at the time. These were just songs that were kind of sitting around. I didn't really know what the hell to do with them, and I ended up releasing them on this when the label approached me, and turned out to be fairly successful for a compilation. Some people actually said it was like some of my best work to date, which is pretty humbling, because at the time I kind of considered these songs as almost like throwaways, so I don't know what to say. I mean, that's cool, I guess. The album takes off with actually a cover I did from the Final Fantasy VII video game called You Can Hear the Cry of the Planet. I don't know if you guys are like into RPG games and stuff like that, but that was like one of my favorite things back in the day, back in the 90s, my childhood into like my teens and at least the early 20s when I was still really into video games. And this is just my tribute, I guess, to Nobuo Uematsu and his amazing music from those games, and just video games in general. And then, like I said, the rest of the songs in this record were just, extra songs I'd sitting around. I guess, they're not really bad. I actually have listened to this kind of recently, and it actually is somehow very cohesive in spite of the fact that they were all created during different periods of time. So it comes on just a, normal red tape. And the inside over here, I can't really tell, but I have this picture of this demonic squirrel that I pictured in my window. It really didn't turn out very well. It did. The picture was kind of shit to start out with. But there's this demonic window. This was on like Christmas, like 10 years ago. I was sitting there getting ready to go to my parents' house, and this thing was like staring at my window and giving me the evil eye. It was really cool. So anyway, there's that. And I did all the artwork and photography and layout for this one, so I was pretty happy. It turned out really cool. This was this picture on the front was actually taken during a very jovial boat ride on Lake Michigan, and well, as you can imagine, those aren't actually cracked in reality, but I added my post-apocalyptic touch to it, and it looked like this horrible apocalyptic thing. So there you go. That is Crumbling Cities Echoing Their Terror. Oh, and I should also mention, I think this tape is still available from the label if you are interested. I ran on my copies because he only sent me 5 copies, and I sold out mine pretty quickly. So if you are interested, that is still available, I think, on Sleep Unit's website. Bandcamp, sorry. So check it out.
The end is near, but not quite here, and we got time to talk about one more release. The project I'm going to talk about has only been around for a few years, but in that short amount of time, they've made a pretty big impact on the scene. This is a project that very specifically falls into the occult, ritualistic, dark ambient subgenre. In fact, they prefer calling their music diabolical, ritual, dark ambient. Which, in a way, maybe it might sound pretentious, but they've actually kind of carved out this niche and this sound that's very unique and, I would say, actually pretty revolutionary as far as ritualistic, dark ambient is concerned. I've never heard something so dark and so diabolical and menacing and utterly evil as this project. I mean, maybe it sounds ridiculous, but these guys are just, this is a band that shows just dedication to what they do. This is real. This isn't just an act. This isn't like a black metal band slathering on corpse paint and going on stage and whatever I don't know what the fuck black metal bands do. They're all ridiculous. But this is a band that just seems really dedicated to what they do,
So the latest release was released by Noctivagant Records, and I have to say, every release from this band just keeps getting better and better. And I've gotten my hands on almost all of them. There's still a few older ones I gotta get my hands on, but this is really great. The latest release is a split album with Emme, and the CD is called Mysterium Evangeliones Leviathan. And I'm just gonna call it Mysterium from here on because apparently my tongue cannot pronounce that middle word. I don't know. It's Latin. I tried to look it up on Google Translate. I still can't do it. It's crazy. Fuck it. I don't care. We're gonna call it Mysterium from here on. Alright. So Mysterium, at least one version of it comes in this deluxe silkscreen box here, and this is limited to just 23 copies. And as soon as this was put up for pre-order, I grabbed them. This is a project I've been following for, I guess, about a year and a half, 2 years now, and I just absolutely love everything they release. I still got a few more albums, some older ones I gotta get, but this is just, every release this band does just keeps getting better and better and just darker and darker. I mean, I just never heard a project that's so just possessed by just menacing evil. I mean, there's just something about this music that just, I don't know how to put it in perspective exactly, but it really takes control of me, and I guess, you know, you can just really feel the evil emanating from this music. And I mean, you know, you can feel darkness, you can feel, you know, when an artist kind of has a certain sentiment in music, you can kind of feel that, you know, whatever it may be, darkness, melancholy, happiness, whatever. Oh, fuck happiness. But, you know, you know, when it's something just so overpoweringly dark, I mean, this is just, I don't know. I mean, this is like like certain black metal bands can do that too. You know, the actual good ones have that power. Just really, you can just feel it. You can feel the evil inside. And I mean, this is one of those projects where it's so authentic. I mean, it's so there. Corona Barathri sort of seen as this, I guess, collective of sorts from Russia, with the main member being a man named Effectus, who basically handles all the dark ambient aspects of the music, while a man named Kine is more responsible for like the instruments like the percussion, flute, acoustic guitar, and shakers and stuff like that, and a few other odds and ends. And then there's basically sort of this, I guess I wouldn't say revolving door, but kind of a lot of like other occultists are often invited into the project to help out and contribute instruments and voices and all that kind of things. And one of the pretty frequent contributors was a woman named Lamia Colta. And she had been on, I think, almost every single release until just recently when she was kicked out of the project. I'm not really sure what the circumstances were, but apparently she moved to, or took a vacation to Italy, and somehow she got corrupted into being Islamic or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I just pieced this kind of together through a broken English post on Facebook. That's kind of what I got out of it. But apparently, she either left the band or was kicked out because of this, and I mean, rightly so. I mean, I don't know why anyone would think Islam is a good idea. I mean, I still don't know why anyone thinks Christianity is a good idea either. But yeah, it's pretty sad because her contributions were pretty immense. I mean, she just had this this howling, witching, just fucking dark, possessed voice. It just made this music so alive and just so, I don't know, otherworldly and just dark, and dark in a way I can't even explain. Just I don't know. It was just great, and it's gonna be hard to replace her. But those have sort of been the three key people in the project so far, with just other occasional members passing through. I really like about this particular album is it seems like there's been a slow evolution with their music, just adding more instruments and just adding more character to the music. And you know, that's the thing that I really like, and it's just interesting to see where this project's going to continue going. I mean, on this release, there's a bit more percussion, there's some acoustic guitar, there's flute, there's various like shakers, there's other percussive kind of instruments, and then of course just I mean, super, just, I don't know, really intimidating, just unbelievably dark ambient soundscapes. I mean, Effectus is a genius for this kind of stuff. I mean, the stuff he comes up with is just immense. I mean, it is so oppressively dark, and just, I don't know, there was this period of time a few weeks or months ago where I was listening to Corona Barathri just like every day, and I noticed the music had this like effect on me, and I'm not sure if it was even a good effect, because I sort of felt like this darkness coming into me. And I mean, I've sort of mentioned before that I had some interest in the cult years ago, and you know, I sort of felt that same presence back then. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say if, you know, a lot of this stuff you know, is real or fake. But I mean, when you kind of feel it so passionately, and you know, it kind of makes you wonder, I guess. And that's what I always feel when I hear this. I mean, these are dark souls. The people that make this, they're so into what they do. This is no act. This is their life. This is, you know, something they truly believe in, and they're dedicated to the dark arts. I mean, and they take that passion, they put it in their music 100%. There's nothing here that's filler. It's all killer. It's just unbelievably dark. I love it. Of course, I don't want to give all the attention to Corona Barathri. Also, this is a split release with Emme, and Emme, I did mention an older episode of the Inner Sanctum. Emme, again, is a ritualistic dark ambient project. This is just really fucking great stuff. I mean, this guy is a South American guy, and you can sort of feel a sort of a South American presence in his, I guess, his music. I don't really know how to put that into perspective. It just, maybe it's something I'm thinking about, like from a movie or something like that. But you can just kind of feel his South American kind of vibes in it. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, but you know, his music's pretty similar. A lot of, you know, percussion, just ritualistic, dark. It's really great. I mean, I know I said in that last video I need to look up his stuff and buy some of his. I haven't gotten around to it, but it's really good. His name is Edgar Curveball, and he's just, you know, he's become this pretty well-known occultist, and, you know, Emme has been around for a number of years now, and he's got a lot of great releases, I'm sure, but I just haven't gotten around to them. But this is great stuff. I mean, his 3 songs are fantastic, and the 4 songs from Corona Barathri are outstanding. So I guess Corona Barathri kind of wins over Emme a little bit, but the CD as a whole is just immense. I love it. This is fucking awesome stuff. So basically, if you're looking for some of the darkest of the dark ambient, this is the project to go with. This is one of the releases they get. I could show you every release from this project and talk about them, but you know, every one is just, it's perfect. I don't know. There's something truly malevolent in this music, and I mean, that's not something you get with every, you know, dark music entity. This is just something that's truly possessed by evil, and just something that's 100% genuine. It's so for real. And I mean, if you want to really experience, you know, the dark side and the occult and evil way of life, I think Corona Barathri is your ticket to that. Mysterium is an incredible release. Alright, let's take a look at the Mysterium box set released by Noctivagant Records. On the cover, of course, we have this diabolical image here. And at the back, there's just simply, this is number 18 of 23, so very limited. So here's the CD. Both of the band's logos and the sigils and stamps on here. I think I might have pronounced it right. beautiful, just creepy, dark occult artwork, and I love it. Here's 2 sigil cards. Again, just brilliant artwork on these. If I'm not mistaken, the paintings were actually done by Emme too, which is, you know, again, a shame that her artwork probably won't be featured in the project ever again. Just thought of them. These are all original paintings. This is fucking awesome. Oh, this is a no fill from Noctivagant sent me. Because my size large shirt was not in stock at the time of release. And I don't think these were a part of the official release too, but he sent me one with I guess like business cards of sorts. Some stickers. Proper business. For those who congregate on purpose. That's about it, and that concludes the box set viewing of the Mysterium box set. So, of course, and here's the t-shirt which I have on here. You didn't see it too well in the video. Again, a fantastic release, a brilliant, amazing release made, you know, by Noctivagant. So, 100% support to that label, and just, you know, great stuff as always. And yeah, fucking awesome release. Totally 100% recommended if you're into ritualistic dark ambient music. Well, guys, you survived to the end, and thank you once again for tuning in here on the Inner Sanctum and this dark ambient vlog of mine. As always, you know, it's a wonderful pleasure to have you here with me. I enjoy talking about dark ambient music immensely, and hopefully you discovered some more cool releases, and hopefully you're going to stick around with me for a bit longer, because I intend to keep doing these for as long as I have motivation to do them, as long as I keep having an audience. So thank you so much, all of you. It is a pleasure and an honor, and I'm just glad I'm building up an audience and everyone's just kind of really getting into this, and it's just, it's great. I love it. I love talking about this stuff, I love doing this kind of stuff. So thank you all once again for tuning in. This is the end of the Inner Sanctum for now, and as always, I will be back. Rain sticks are cool too. Ha ha!